Attorneys David Siegel and Jesse Barrientos discuss divorce and family law. Be sure to stay tuned because at the end of this short video, you will have the opportunity to request a free copy of their book, Divorce and Family Law: Who Has the Legal Right When Things Go Terribly Wrong.
Okay, so we've got custody, we've got child support flowing. We've got to divide up this property, don't we?
We do.
How is the property divided?
Hopefully it's divided equitably, right? And again, that's one of those other things too in terms of agreement. It's so much better and much cheaper if people are in agreement to be able to do that. But let's say that you have a house. Okay, who's going to get the house? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to handle that.
Let's talk about a house with $100,000 worth of equity.
Okay.
And we have a minor child who wants to remain in the house with the mother in our example who has custody.
Well, there's a lot of ways to do that.
Is the father out?
Well, he may or may not be. It depends on the specific circumstance of the case. But I will tell you that I've seen situations where it's part of the agreement that the wife and the child live in the house for a certain number of years, and then the house gets sold and the equity divided, and then the responsibility for paying it while the person's in the house. Actually, that could go either way too, depending upon the resources of the parties. Could be incumbent upon the wife in this situation or upon the husband, just depending. If he's making $500,000 a year and she makes $18,000 a year, and, obviously that's going to bring up some other issues too. Or the house could just be listed with the realtor and sold, and the net proceeds divided 50-50, 60-40, 70-30.
Well, in the example I'm posing, both parties were gainfully employed. It took both incomes to pay that mortgage, taxes, utilities, and insurance. So obviously, there's going to be a problem here if one of the spouses has to go live somewhere else and pay rent, for example. They can't maintain that house. So what's to happen?
It's going to get sold.
This is a terrible time to sell.
It is a terrible time to sell, and unfortunately, there's no other way. And you know what? People are, they reduce the price and try to move it, and that's really all they can do. I've even had some situations where even after the divorce, they're still living in the same house because of that financial situation that you're talking about. They can't really afford to do it. I mean, but sometimes in an ideal situation, one spouse maybe can buy the other person out. So either you agree to what the value is or what the equity is, or you have an appraisal or something of that nature.
Sure.
And that's really better, because this way you don't have to worry about, the house is going to be sold or not, and the other person comes out. But the reason why we say that too is it has to be refied, because you want, as the other person who's not going to keep the house, you want your name off of that. You don't want your name associated with a mortgage or anything else after that, because if now what's going to be your ex-spouse defaults on those payments or makes late payments, it's going to affect your credit. It's going to impact you adversely. Now say that maybe you want to buy a house now after you're divorced. Now your debt-to-income ratio is going to be messed up because you have this other house on your credit.
Well, call now to request a free copy of the book, Divorce and Family Law. You may also call to schedule a free initial consultation, 847-520-8100, 847-520-8100.